Hi there, welcome back. My name is Jarno and you're watching the second video in my 4-part video series in which I talk about Hyper, my startup company, and the products I have created for it over the last school year. So if you want to know more about who I am, what the company is about, and what this series is for, I recommend you go watch the first video in this series in which I explain all of this in a little more detail. So last time we mainly talked about design thinking, and we really looked at the early stages of this project where the team and I did some interviews, gathered information, and we found a potential solution for our main problem, being that the majority of streamers still struggle with interacting with the audience at an optimal level. And in this video, I will walk you guys through a couple of the designs I have created for the product over the last school year. So first off, I wanted to talk about the design requirements. Because before I got to work and started designing, the team and I first sat down to make a list of requirements of things we thought were very important to include. Now, we divided these requirements into two main categories. We got acceptance criteria and quality criteria. Now, the acceptance criteria is mainly just a list of requirements for the product. So things that need to be included or thought about when creating the design. Now, the quality criteria, hence the name, are mainly there to make sure that your product is of good quality. So let's start with acceptance criteria number 1. All of the games and exercises we want to provide need to be playable via the chat box of the streaming service. Secondly, we want to have a system that makes sure that viewers who are performing well get rewarded for their performance. Thirdly, we want to implement some sort of progression system so that people can carry over their progression to other games and really work towards a specific goal. Then we also think it's very important that all of the games and exercises we provide are really aimed at strengthening the relationship between the streamer and the viewer. So that also is one thing to keep in mind. And then lastly is that we want to have all the information that's going to be important for a viewer at the center of the screen. Because as you can probably imagine, live streamers usually have their own kind of theme and overlay present on the stream, putting their face cam in different places, putting like alerts on different parts of the screen. And it's usually like on the outside border of their screen, meaning that if we put valuable information for a viewer on the outside, then there's a chance that this information gets blocked by the overlay of the streamer. Therefore, we want everything as centered as possible, at least all the stuff that is important for viewers. Then quickly, a couple of quality criteria. The design should be user-centered, it should be flexible, it should be efficient, it should be consistent, maintainable, and also scalable. So right here you can see what the trivia quiz game looks like right now. As you can see, it's quite the upgrade from the prototype I showed you in the last video. And just to give you a short reminder, it's a very simple game. The questions show up on the left side of the screen and people answer by typing A, B, C, or D in the chat box. Now on the complete left side of the screen you can see a row of menu buttons, and these menu buttons are used to control various options during the quiz. Now right next to those buttons you can see the quiz itself. It's very simple. On the top you have the questions and below that you have the different answers. Now as you can see here, I've made a couple of variations on this quiz. For example, right here you can see what the quiz looks like after the time has run out. The right answer gets revealed, and also a couple of percentage bars show up to indicate the distribution of the answers players gave. Then also I made a simple design to give an example of what the quiz would look like if either the question or the answers contain a lot of text. So everything should scale nicely with the content within. Then back on the game screen, above the quiz window we have the info window. And this displays various different things during the game. The current round of the game is shown alongside the time the players have left to give their answer in chat. And below that we display the amount of people watching the stream, the amount of people actively playing the game, and how many people logged in their answer that round. Then on the right side we have the chat and event window. And this window has two main features. One is to mirror the chat from the streaming service, so for example Twitch or YouTube chat, and the other is to show different game events. For example, what answers viewers have logged in, but also when a viewer reaches a certain milestone or gets a specific achievement, this will also show up in this window over here. Then, as you can imagine, the more viewers you have, the more crowded and overwhelming this window can quickly become. So on the left side menu, we have a button that toggles on or off the chat mirroring. And you can see this as just a simple filter that filters out all of the chat messages sent in the Twitch or YouTube chat, but all of the game events like answers and achievements will still be shown. Then I wanted to walk you guys through the login flow. And the login flow has seen a couple of different iterations. For example, right here you see one of the previous designs alongside of one of the current designs of the login flow. And we very intentionally changed a couple of things. This is because in the past, we had occasions where streamers would try out the product and they really didn't know what to expect of it, because on the login screen we weren't very descriptive. We also didn't use any illustrations or images to showcase what the product would look like, so they were a bit skeptical with authorizing their account with us. So in the newer designs we made a couple of changes. We tweaked the text a little bit, and we also added a nice animation with a little tease of what they can expect from the product. So right now what the streamer will do is they would register with their Google account, and then after they have registered, they get asked to link one of their streaming channels. So this can be a Twitch channel, and in the very near future this can also be a YouTube channel. Now, connecting this to a Google account instead of just logging in with, for example, a Twitch or a YouTube channel means that the streamer can choose to link multiple accounts. For example, maybe one streamer owns several different YouTube channels they want to stream to, or for example would like to stream on YouTube on Mondays and on Twitch on Fridays. Then when everything is set up, you land on the main menu. At the moment we only have 2 games that are in production, one being the trivia quiz and the other one being a variant of 30 seconds that can be played between streamer and viewer. Then when the game is selected, the streamer can either play with his viewers or compete with his viewers against other streamers. And if they wish to do so, they need to share the lobby invite code. Once streamers join, they'll show up in the window right here on the left, and the party leader gets a couple of moderation options to either kick the streamer from the party, ban them from this specific party, that means they are not able to join this party ever again, but they will be able to join parties in the future, or promote a streamer to party leader. Then on the right side, streamers can hit the gear icon to change a couple of different configuration options for the game they have selected. Now we've looked at what it looks like to create a lobby, but what does it look like to join a lobby? Now on the home screen there's an input field for the invite code, so if the streamer in question gets sent the invitation code, they can enter it here and join the lobby. Then once they're in the lobby, they simply have the option to ready up, and once they do, a green check mark will be displayed behind their name, indicating that they're ready. Then when we go back to the main menu, on the top right corner of the screen there's this icon to reveal a side menu in which they can go to a settings page. Now these are just some global settings for the application. We have the option to change the menu language. Now during the games we offer a narration option to, for example, read the questions out loud, and right here they can configure things like the speed, the tone, the language, etc. Then there's also a tab to adjust some audio levels, and lastly there's the option to switch from one channel to another if the streamer has linked multiple channels to their account. Then lastly, from that same side menu we also have the option to go to the feedback page, and this is very valuable for us. At the end of every game we ask for a little bit of feedback, and this really helps us to improve the product and implement changes if necessary. To wrap things up, there are again a lot of things I learned from creating this product, including the use of plugins in Adobe XD, as well as using the component system within XD to keep the project maintainable and also scalable. Then I also learned a lot of things about creating dark themed designs, how to work with contrast, and also progressive disclosure. So with wrapping up this video, we have talked about the origins of the company and how we managed to kick off the project, and also what the project currently looks like in terms of design. Now in the next video I'm going to talk about a sales page, because that's still one of the things missing right now, and we think that has a very high priority to really make our users understand what we're trying to offer. Now if you want to give it a go yourself, you can go to hyper.net and see what features are available right now. If you do, make sure to give us feedback, and I'll see you guys in the next video.